Joint VA loans. They are tricky and they are uncommon. They don't fit in the normal box of typical VA loans. I can do them. What is a joint VA loan? Simply put, it's going to be a VA loan between a veteran and somebody that they're not married. It can be between a veteran and his and her boyfriend, girlfriend. It can be between a veteran and a veteran that are not married. A typical VA loan is when a veteran is getting a VA loan and their spouse is also applying with them. That's a typical VA loan. So why would somebody want to get a joint VA loan? I had multiple scenarios this last year. Well, I say multiple, but really it was just 3. One of them being where a veteran and his girlfriend, they were engaged. They wanted to buy a home. They were getting married later in the year, but they were kind of in a rush to buy a home with a job change and stuff like that. So at that time, I let them know that it wasn't possible. We ended up just doing the VA loan just in his name. Another situation is where a veteran and a veteran who are not married and they are wanting to get a home loan together. In that situation, which I also had, it was they were PCSing to a base. I think one of them had gotten out. They wanted to get a home loan together and they just weren't married yet. So the easy answer to this is going to be a joint VA loan is going to be from a veteran and somebody that they're not married to. The third one that I had this year, actually we ended up getting it pushed through. It was between a veteran and his girlfriend. They weren't engaged, but they had been living together as if they were married for a really long time. And so they wanted to get their first home together. Why would you want to do this? Another reason would be if you're going into a business venture with somebody. And the way I think about this is, when I was deploying, I noticed that a lot of people would basically put all of their stuff in storage and then go ahead and rent out their property. I think it's super smart that they're able to do that. Now, when they come home, they're basically homeless. But they are looking to potentially buy another property or move in with somebody else. They just wanted to kind of collect that BAH while they were gone. The way this story plays out in my head is I am deployed, I put all my stuff in storage, and I'm out there with my crew. I'm on a 4 to 6 month deployment, and I wanted to collect that BAH while I was gone. While I'm out there, I find that somebody else has done that too. We're both into real estate. We want to buy a multifamily. Both of us want to buy a multifamily. That's something that we both are looking to do in the future, and we find that our entitlement is kind of tied up with our first property and we don't have enough entitlement to go ahead and purchase a multifamily. So we go into this business venture together. You know, I'm out there and I'm talking to, my buddy Ben, and he's been wanting a multifamily, and so we're like, hey, we can do a joint VA loan. We can get a property, a multifamily, a fourplex, and I can live in one unit, you can live in another unit, and we can rent out the other 2. We can basically take our VA entitlement to the max and make some money off of it long term. Or we can both live in the same unit. We can live in one unit together, rent out the other 3, and go ahead and get a joint VA loan and really maximize the entitlement that we have left. And so it can be a really good tool in a business venture. We come back from a deployment looking for a fourplex, and we go into this together utilizing a VA loan, because you don't have to, as long as you have enough entitlement, you don't have to put any money down on the property. Now, I would highly suggest, if you're kind of going down this route, that you go ahead and, get a good lawyer or, seek legal advice as to what's going to be the best way to structure the business venture together. But it can be a great opportunity to go ahead and get a multifamily unit or a multifamily property, or go and get a property with somebody else that may have more experience in the rental market. With that, let's go into how these things work. Now, if you are looking to get a joint VA loan with somebody that is not a veteran, then you're going to take, let's say your purchase price is $400,000. So on that $400,000, the non-veteran is going to have to put 12.5% down on that property. And then the veteran is going to be responsible for half of it. So $200,000 is going to be their responsibility. And then they have to pay the VA funding fee based on that $200,000. So if they're on a subsequent use, they would pay the 3.3%. If they're on the first time use, they would pay the 2.15%. It's that simple. Then if it was like the other scenario that I talked about where it was a veteran and a veteran, then and they're buying a $400,000 property, at that point you would split it in half, and each veteran would be responsible for paying a funding fee on their own half. So if one of them was subsequent use, they would pay 3.3% on their $200,000, and then if the other veteran was on first time use, then they would pay the 2.15% on their $200,000. Let's see some considerations to think about. Both borrowers have to be living in the property. That's a must. So the VA wants to make sure that you're moving into the property, and it's usually within 60 days. So if you're buying a multifamily, a fourplex, you need to make sure that 2 of the units are available, or if you're both going to move into the same unit, then you can, as long as it's available within 60 days and you're both moving in. So you got to make it your primary residence. VA loans require manual underwrites, and they also require VA approval. So basically, when I get a file like this, I have to submit it, and then with the investor that I'm using, then they have to go ahead and submit it for VA approval, which takes about 10 business days. All right, well, that's all I got. Thank you for listening. I hope it was informative, and if you have any questions about real estate or mortgage lending, reach out. I love answering questions. I love talking to people. And until the next video, thanks again. Bye.